Review quotation marks. Use quotation marks at the beginning and end of a direct quotation, the speaker's exact words. Use a comma to set off the explanatory words or the attribution. If the quotation is divided into two parts by explanatory words, both parts have to have quotation marks. "I checked the schedule," said Leo, "and we have time to eat." "Said Leo" are the explanatory words. The first comma is inside the quotation marks. The second comma is after Leo, so it's outside the quotation marks. There's a space between the quotation marks and said, and a space after the comma and before the next quotation marks. And then the next part is a continuation of the sentence, so we do not capitalize the continuing sentence. The sentence ends after eat, so there's a period there. "That's good," said Ricky. "We'll be hungry." "Said Ricky" are the explanatory words, and that's the end of the sentence, after Ricky. So we capitalize the new sentence. Look at these examples to see where there should and should not be spaces. "I checked the schedule," said Leo, "and we have time to eat." There's no space before the first quotation marks in the beginning of the sentence. And then there's no space between the last word in the first part of the quote and the comma and the quotation marks. But there is a space between the quotation marks and the word "said." There's no space between Leo and the comma after Leo, but there is a space between the comma and the quotation marks. Then there's no space between the quotation marks and the next word. And there's no space at the end between the last word and the period, and between the period and the last quotation marks. An indirect quotation is when the speaker's words are restated in somewhat different words. Quotation marks are not needed. An indirect quote: "Mr. Brown said for us to be ready because the bus is leaving at 8. This is what Mr. Brown said, but it's not his exact words, so we don't have to use quotation marks. If a quotation itself is a question or exclamation, put the question mark or exclamation mark inside the quotation marks. Renee asked, "What time are we going to the park?" Her words are a question, so we put the question mark inside the quotation marks. "What time are we going to the park?" asked Renee. Again, her words are the question, so the question goes inside the quotation marks, but we put a period at the end of the sentence. If the sentence is a question or exclamation, but the quotation is not, put the question mark or exclamation mark outside the quotation marks. "I can't believe he said, 'It's only a spider.'" This time, the whole sentence is an exclamation, so the exclamation mark goes outside the quotation marks because the quotation, "It's only a little spider," was not an exclamation. A dialogue is a conversation between two or more speakers. When writing a dialogue, each speaker gets a new paragraph and new quotation marks. Use italics or underlining for major works. Underline when writing by hand or if italics isn't available. Major works often have divisions in them like chapters, songs, articles, scenes, and poems. Major works include books, full-length plays, music albums or CDs, newspapers, magazines, movies, and television shows. Use quotation marks for short works. Short works are sections of major works, including chapters, articles, songs, short stories, essays, poems, and television episodes. Capitalize the first and last word of a title and all important words. Do not capitalize articles. Remember, that's a, an, and the. Conjunctions like and, but, for, and so, or prepositions with fewer than 5 letters. Now it is your turn. Show what you learned by completing the Google form.